against my character.
No.
Would Quintu do what you're doing?
God,
No,
I have a.
Zach earns corruption points because he'll DM me and be like, "Hey, can I do this weird shit?" And I'm like, "All right, but you'll take a corruption point for it." And he's like, "Deal."
Fuck yeah. I have a terrible, terrible feeling that when we get to Asmodeus, he's gonna do damage based on how many corruption points we have.
I have a different theory.
You get like 1d6 per point.
I mean, if that wasn't the plan, now it probably is.
Oh no, what I have is worse. What I have is worse.
Never mind, I take that back.
Oh no!
Uh-huh.
We write that down. Corruption points are worse than we thought.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because once you get a certain number of them, because I have to keep track of temptations you've given into your corruption points.
Yeah.
Once you get to a certain number, you're corrupted. And that means something.
Oh.
What does that mean, Paul? How many do you have to get?
Has Sharp Eye reached corrupted yet?
Bold of you to assume only one person has.
What?
Oh
What?
no! Have
Who's
any
gonna
of us reached corrupted yet?
That was the best noise for Brad ever.
Several people have reached corruption yet.
What?
Several people have. Uh-huh.
Neat.
Interesting.
Several.
Mm-hmm.
Very
yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So, yeah, let's do this shit, because I think I probably have about 40 minutes before I decide that I'm not interested in talking anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So, at the end of last session, you defeated Barbula, and Elias had begun the process of, quote-unquote, legally acquiring this business through auction.
Hostile takeovering.
Yes, which is pretty standard business practice. You also found out an awful lot about government-subsidized secretaries, as well as the Soul Clerk Union. So, I hope that you have noticed that Hal has better labor practices than the material plane.
And I felt it.
Yeah. And you went to a very expensive steakhouse that Elias's new secretary got you reservations for. As there are 2 days until the auction, which Elias is supposed to finally complete the transaction in taking over this business. And so the intention is for you to have a couple of days of downtime in Hell, and then decide where you're going from there. And as you left off, I believe the intention was, after you had Stake 2, retire to someone's magnificent mansion, I believe. Unless there's anything you'd like to do before you retire for the evening.
Nah.
Oh. Well, let's actually take a little moment and check in with Schlepp.
okay.
Don't worry, some. Okay.
Beautiful.
It's like, oh,
I gotta keep you on your toes sometimes, Q.
Uh-oh. Let's see here. What's an appropriate music theme for this? Yeah, that should be good.
Not what I've playing. Oh.
And so,
Check out this beat.
at some point, Warforged really can't lose consciousness, per se, but you retreat from the excruciating pain of being unmade and remade as much as you are able. And at some point, the pain subsides. And it's not so much that you feel good as it is you feel the absence of agony. And you slowly, well, maybe not blink your eyes open, but turn on your ocular sensors again and see the world for maybe the first time in a form you chose for yourself.
What do I see?
You are in the Elder Brain's laboratory. There are mind flayers sort of just Corteso's the laboratory, and there are mind flayers vaguely monitoring you. They're putting memory slates back. One of them leans over you. You hear telepathically, "I know you're awake. Can you move your arms and legs?"
Without speaking, he tries to look at his hand and test each of the joints.
You're able to move. You have full control once again of your limbs, your fingers. What does your new skin look like?
Yeah.
Skin?
As he looks at his hand along his forearm, feels the membranous, fibrous strands of tissue thinly spread across his limb. Corteso, was the operation successful?
Yes. Believe we've done what you set out to do. The rest is up to you. How you use it.
I have many questions, but I don't know what to ask. Grink and I. How many days has it been?
Sits there and he sort of counts. Well, days get a little funky down here, but 6 or 7, I'd say.
You have a mirror, Grink and I.
Or just don't look too deep. You might not like what you see. He holds up what is essentially a black oval, obsidian smooth, and holds it before you. And as you look at it, the blackness sort of swirls and dissipates, and you're able to see yourself in the reflective surface.
He pulls on the robes that likely had been removed for the procedure. And he looks down at them, looks at himself in the mirror. I think these are outdated now. I'll have some tailoring to do.
Fashion is important. Hard to make a good impression if you look schlubby.
Disney Plus.
He looks toward Corteso It says, I know what was consisted and included within the templates I provided, the schematics, but what exactly did you do to me?
Are you experiencing buyer's remorse, Asclepius?
I don't know. He looks at the schematics and he looks in the mirror, and they're clearly not exactly the same.
No.
And he says, I do not have any objections to improvements and augmentations beyond the schematics, but I'm just morbidly curious as to what those might have been.
Well, I'm limited by the materials that I have access to. And to make up for those lacking materials, I gave over a little bit of myself and my children. Just a little. Open one of the latches on your forearm or on your chest. Look inside.
Where he had the latch that he opened to insert vials, he opens it and takes a peek in.
In the areas in which you see sort of the wiring and the clockwork mechanisms that you're used to seeing inside your body, but you also see running alongside these mechanical bits that you expected. Tendrils of purple, fleshy appendages, nerves almost, twining and spiraling throughout. Almost like a second nervous system.
You mind flayer things.
He thinks, I'm able to think a little bit clearer. I suppose I'm no longer just machine anymore.
Oh. No, something more. But I think you were already on that path before. A little bit of biological material doesn't change that.
He thinks and tries to go through recent memories, and as he flips through the images, the playback, the conversations and exchanges, he moves his head ever so slightly. The feelings, these sensations, anger, disappointment, love, they're there. But only in proximity. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I suppose I don't know what it feels like to be born mortal of flesh. You know, I originally thought Cortiso that I wanted to be human.
Hmm. Overrated.
After interacting with my colleagues, going through hell, experiencing the dream pools, I think my hypothesis was correct. Replacing the faults of machinehood with the faults of humanity isn't the answer. You have to ascend beyond both. Be the best of both to be perfect. Not quite divinity. But perhaps just one step closer.
The Grinkin Eye laughs. Close enough for government work, as they say. Besides, to be truly divine is to be a giant pompous asshole, and I don't think you're that far gone.
What does it feel like to now? He sits there and thinks as he feels along the tendrils in the purple flesh.
Hmm.
Just
You still have to
the
describe what you
touch,
look like.
the touch of Illithid.
It feels like gaining a new sense. You're used to experiencing the world with the senses given to you by your creators. Sight, smell, hearing, touch. As much as your tactile sensors would allow you to touch. It's like tasting something for the first time. It's like being able to feel the air currents, the magnetic fields of the earth. It is something entirely new and somehow deeply, a deeply intimate feeling. For these bits of illithid run through your entire body, and you feel a spark inside you, similar to the one you felt when the little piece of divine plaque the Grinkin Eye put on you would warm against your skin. But you feel now, instead of that otherworldly power coming from without, coming from within.
I will uphold my end of the bargain, Cortiso.
I knew you would. And if you don't, Well, you carry a little bit of me with you, don't you?
I suppose that is a risk I chose to take.
Hmm.
Grink and I, do you know where my colleagues are by any chance?
Probably find out for you, I. And he
Oh.
turns the mirror back around to himself and does a divination spell on the mirror. Oh, wow. The dumb fucks went to the sinking city.
They're still on this lair.
The rate they're going, I don't think Asmodeus will have to climb his way up from hell.
Something must have grabbed their attention.
Like a butterfly or a shiny coin.
All of them are still alive.
As far as I can tell. They've got a hoary old devil with them now.
Master Rahim must have made another deal. Well, he thinks for a moment. Yeah. Rahim. I suppose I owe them a call.
Generally polite to call before you just drop in on a fella.
Yeah. He picks up his sending stone. Activates it. This is Asclepius. Do you hear me? To Rahim's sending stone.
He waits for a moment before picking it up. Let it ring a couple times.
I'll let him cook a little.
Slept. Ooh. Everything all right?
I am pleased to share that my transformation is complete. Are you safe?
Yeah, we're all safe. We got into, sort of a deal. No one knows how, but deals were being made, and then we assisted a resident of how, you know, Mr. Wands.
What was this deal?
Same old, tearing up the order of power. Our usual stuff.
I should wish to meet with you in the sinking city privately before facing the party.
Okay. Fine by me.
Where can I find you?
I will inform Slep of. I don't know how you're gonna get here, but
If you want to find me, find Ninky.
yeah, find me. She'll know the way. But I mean, I'll give him our location. I don't know how you're gonna get here exactly without a boat or anything, but we're here for the next couple of days. So
I'll be en route shortly. Be safe. Don't get into any trouble.
You too.
And once the call is finished, he will,
The call.
before he's ready to get ready and depart, he will begin just doing some tailor work on his clothing. And yeah,
One of the illithid assists you. It's kind of silly because they've got thimbles on their tentacles, but it's good to have extra hands.
yeah. Especially the first thing to go is the embellishments regarding the Church of Bahamut.
Mm.
And he will do that, and once that's completed, he will turn to Grink and I.
Mm.
I appreciate your help in arranging this. I think I'm ready to return and make my way to the Sinking City.
All right. You watch as the Grinkin eye eats the embellishments that you pulled off of your surcoat. He's slurping the last of the embroidery floss down like spaghetti. Burps. He's still a little flicker of divine radiance. You're sure you want to go back to those fools?
I am.
Well, right then. If you change your mind, got something we could do together. I think.
I'm curious.
Need to cook a little while longer. But if you're ready to throw off the trappings of your former life completely, come back and see me. And maybe you can help me throw off the trappings of mine.
I think I'd be on board with that.
Thought you might.
Might be my way of repaying you, as he takes his hand.
And again, you're struck with the odd sensation, because he just looks like a little halfling.
They were roommates.
But you're struck with the sensation as he takes your hand that the hand is many times larger than yours. Hold your breath. And you disapparate from that level of hell. And he drops you off in the Sinking City. And you can decide from there where you'd like to try and meet up with Raheem. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, what other downtime things are we trying to accomplish here?
I want to get rifle parts. I want to make a rifle.
Okay.
I need just a few things. I need a receiver, chamber, trigger mechanism, a sight, and a safety.
So you go wandering in the market. Does anybody going on this shopping trip with him?
Cecilia will go with them. Kind of out of habit.
Yeah. You see all of the horrors and pleasures that the market has to offer. Roll me perception or investigation check.
I will take perception.
Do I get to roll or just him?
if you're helping him, you could roll with advantage, or you could roll separately.
I'll help him.
Okay, roll with advantage.
We're
He
a
described to
team.
Celia. Yeah, he described to Cece exactly what you're looking for. Okay. Um, it takes you a little while, but you finally find a blacksmith shop, and for a moment you're struck with horror as you see um, that this blacksmith has just taken apart a bunch of Warforged, and you are in a panic looking at all of their faceplates to see if one of them belongs to your erstwhile robot companion. Um, and none of them do, and none of them look particularly familiar. But amongst all of the bits of disassembled Warforged, you're able to find the pieces that you need. There's a bearded devil leaning over. He's shirtless, wearing a leather apron. If you look closely enough, you'll see that the leather apron has nipples on it, which is kind of disturbing. You're struck wondering what kind of leather it's made out of. Um, when he turns around, you just see bare ass. He's only wearing a leather apron at his forge.
Mm.
Oi,
Question for the DM: Are the leather nipples like on his nipples, or are they just
no.
they're just somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay, so he's not old school Batmaning it up. Okay,
No.
I get
It was
Important
just
detail.
incidental that there were nipples included in this leather.
Neat. I'm looking for parts to certain mechanisms, but also, do you work with? You seem to work with Warforged a lot. Do you work with magical items?
But
I pull out the 9 Lives Stealer Longsword. Can you turn this into specs without it losing its enchantment?
do you want me to turn it into?
I show him the schematics I have. Basically, I want to turn the 9 lives Stealer Longsword into a 9 lives hunting rifle.
sorry. What?
I can do it. Cost you though.
How much?
15 soul coin.
15 soul coins?
Mm. If you want a rush job, if you want, I could take longer. Do it for 10.
How much longer? I only got 2 days.
Well, guess you better pay the 15 then. Otherwise, it'll take me a week.
Ah, shit. Alright, fine. 15 soul coins.
Mm-hmm.
Turn this into the specs that I'd like. You don't have to put it together. I'll do that.
Hmm.
Unless, do you have history with firearms?
He reaches below the counter and just pulls up an entire Warforged forearm gauntlet. He bangs on it, and the hand like twirls, and turns into what is essentially the revolving barrel of a Gatling gun.
Neat. Can you turn it? Well then, I got the rest of the parts. If it'd just like save us time, can you just take? I hand him like I'll pull out a box out of my bag of holding and open it, and it's like a perfect inlay for a lever action rifle. But he's put the parts that he has uh, pretty much where the rifle would be. He's
Mm.
got a barrel, the lever action, the stock. Uh, Basically, the outer shell doesn't have any of the inner parts.
Hmm. I could do something with that, yeah. And half now, half on receipt tomorrow.
How about all now?
Narrows his yellow eyes at you.
Would that make it go faster?
No, just makes you dumb.
That's fair. Half now, half on receipt.
Tomorrow then. And as he turns around, it completely dismisses you and gives you just a full view of his bare ass. He starts rifling through the chest and body parts of the Warforged that he's got around him, just pulling out receivers and barrels, and kicks one of the heads across the room.
Oh, better leave the man to his work. Unless Cece, do you need anything?
You know, I was really thinking about it, and I think I wanted an apron with multiple nipples. I think I want a nipple apron if I can, but
Go see Rebecca.
oh shit, where's Rebecca?
The
There's a
knave?
leather.
Oh no, 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 no!
You know, she probably works in like humanoid leather, right? I say this as we're walking towards the place.
Well, what do you think else has nipples?
I mean, boars, cats,
Most mammals.
most mammals, yeah.
I would like to use my knowledge to assess if those were humanoid nipples or non-humanoid nipples.
Oh yeah, no, those were humanoid nipples for sure. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it.
Listen, Sharpa, those were definitely humanoid nipples, and you know, I'm just more intrigued than anything else.
You find the tanner, Rebecca the tanner, not Rebecca the knave. This is not Old Homes Week. This is your life. D&D edition. No. When you go into the tanner, you're struck with that very familiar smell of richly cured leather. It's probably the only place in this entire city, in this entire layer of hell, besides the sunken log, that doesn't fucking reek. It just smells like beautiful leather. And as you come in, you see something you were not expecting to see. You come in, and Rebecca is just appears to be a human woman. Middle-aged, brown hair with a little bit of gray at the temples. Strong nose.
Okay. Do you have a nipple apron? An apron full of nipples?
Love. How many nipples you want? It costs extra if you need extra. She points to the room. Aprons are over there. You've got trousers over there. She points, and
20.
it's just a full. She points at the trousers. It is literally just like the bottom half of like a well-hung man that's turned into pants.
All right, I would like that. And can I get a set of assless chaps that are just made out of asses?
Oh, you want acid chaps?
Yes.
All asses, no chaps. Understood. Sure, love. You'd be surprised how often people want assless chaps made of asses. One of my best sellers.
All right, I have to ask a silly question.
Sure.
How ethically or unethically sourced is this leather?
Do you mean did I kill him myself? No. Not like a farm to table operation.
So you just get the leather.
Well, I mean, I can peel him if you want to. If you have somebody in mind, you want me to make your apron out of. But I don't provide the bodies myself.
All right, I'll keep you in mind for later. But I may have some family that has unfortunately come back to life. Maybe, possibly.
What? You told me you killed that guy.
I think, you know, the vibes are telling me he might be back. And you know what? Maybe I just want him skinned this time. So I can wear a mask of his stupid face. So every time he tries to come back, he just sees his stupid face.
I can do that also, yeah.
Alright, well, put me down for an apron full of nipples, 20 nipples, and the ass chaps.
Do you want them all to match? Or mix and match nipples is fine. If you want them to match, it'll take longer. It takes a long time to source nipples that are identical.
Mix and match.
All right. In that case, I think I might have the nipple. I think I have the nipple apron. Do you want bespoke, or can you take off the shelf?
Sharp Eye, do you have any money? Why do I have 0 gold? What the fuck?
I have a lot of money.
So Sharp Eye, you remember all those gambling winnings you owe me, right? You know, in the war.
Oh, I remember. But I remember winning more than losing.
I don't think you remember right. I think I was winning more than you than you remember.
Oh, no, I don't think you want to play this game.
She's
Oh,
gonna
maybe
do
I
it.
don't want to play this game.
You know, yeah,
Still
she's
barely
right.
wins. Sharp Eye, please. Ass chaps.
All right, I can see you want it. Is this for gold? Please be for gold.
I'll take gold.
All right, how much for the ass chaps and the nipple? You said bespoke or off? You know what? We're going with off the rack.
Off the rack. 1,000
For nipple. All right.
for both. This is both.
Oh, for both.
Total.
I can wear him into battle.
You know what? 1,000 gold it is.
Nice of you to treat your girlfriend like that.
Yeah.
What? He ain't getting a ride of this.
Now, if only she gives something to me.
You know my love and affection, don't you know?
You
That's
know,
usually how that works.
I would really like a new coat, maybe.
Do you want it with or without nipples?
Preferably without nipples.
What color?
Can you make it all faces?
No,
Sure can.
no, no faces. I don't understand your obsession with pieces. I just want a leather duster.
Like made of cows.
Hell cows, maybe. I don't know.
That's horrific. Why would I make it out of cows?
That's
Well,
not
I don't have to
ethically
kill
sourced.
cows.
Why wouldn't you make it out of cows?
Cows ain't murder people.
Cows are
Right.
everywhere.
But
So are people.
exactly. And cows are cute.
People are only sometimes cute.
Well, where I come from, I got more cows than I got humans, so we have more leather.
Well, I have a duster pre-made in green, brown, less brown, freckled, red, purple.
I'll take less brown.
All right then. You get a medium white man shade of trench coat.
All right. Well,
You see on the lining that there was a tattoo folded in the button placket, and you're just gonna pretend you're just gonna ignore it. With mom in a heart.
Next character, they wear somebody's skin who had tattoos. It's like a duster.
Jesus Christ.
Anything
Ready.
else, lady and gentlemen?
Nah, I think we're good. Thank you
Okay.
for your business. Have a great day.
I think that's supposed to go the other way around, love, but appreciate it.
I am going to quickly put on the ass chaps and the apron
Excellent. Yeah.
for intimidation purposes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Did you pick out nipple apron and ass chaps that are of complementary colors?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like skin coordination is the one thing she can do right.
As complimentary as you can with mix and match nipple.
Yeah. The nipples are all different sizes.
And different animals.
Sure.
Different animals, if you want to tell yourself
Animals.
that.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's coordination between all of the asses that make up the assless chaps and the nipples. They're in coordinating colors. It would really clash if you had a nipple apron that was made out of, say, like devils, so it's all red. But then you have chaps that were made out of like different humanoid species, so it's like various shades of brown.
Lovely.
Okay. Before we return to the case of the shifting Asclepius, what other shenanigandery do you all wish to get up to? Quincy,
Shenanigandery.
For me, I guess I'll try to find information about my family more, because what Quincy stated last session it's like drilled into Clyde's mind that his family might be correlated with the devils. So he's gonna try to find any information based off his family, or maybe like his master might secretly be a devil, or that's in the material plane, or Sebastian. Maybe a cure for lycanthropy.
Okay. Who do you ask for help, or do you just like sort of wander around?
And just wander around.
Okay. Like in the market, in the financial district, like you're trying to find a library.
Library, I'd still wander around, see who seems to be intelligent in my eyes, question him.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Okay. Oh, I was almost in the natural 20.
Yeah. You sort of wander around a little bit, and you pass by a Urenes wearing little tiny librarian spectacles down on the end of her nose. She looks rather bookish, considering she's, a sexy devil woman with big old bird wings. But she's wearing like a tweed pencil skirt, a cardigan. It fits very awkwardly around her wings. Her hair's up in a bun with a quill stuck through it.
Greetings, madam.
Yeah.
I was hoping if you can find some information about archdevils who are placed in the material plane, perhaps some like offensive hive state, or if any cures for lycanthropy that'll be down here.
When she looks down, she realizes that she hasn't taken off her name tag from the Monaro's public library. Well, I'm not an expert, but you can come and browse the microfiche if you'd like. You just have to fill out a form.
Sure.
Get a
let's do that.
membership.
I'll do that then.
Lovely, lovely. Come with me. I was just on my lunch break. You see that she has a brown paper sack that has a greasy stain on one side. Come. And she leads you to a building that is sort of tilted drunkenly in the shifting foundations. Says, do you read Infernal?
Yes.
Yeah, it says Monaro's Public Library at the top. But it is absolutely covered in disgusting, like, lichen and swamp mud, and it's just gross. Well, I hope you don't need anything that is from A to, say, C.5, because it is underwater currently, so unless you're, aquatic. But we keep contracts on microfiche, and you, after you fill out this brief form, she presents you a clipboard. It's got one of those pins that's attached with a ball chain.
Okay.
Fill this out, and I can show you to the microfiche room. She unwraps a burrito the size of a human baby.
I fill out the form, but it takes me a little longer since I'm still feeling out of place. We're doing something on my own.
It says, like, it asks for your name, your occupation, how long you intend on being this level of hell. Um,
Not the
Fucking
very
census.
There's a box at the end that you have to check that says, I hereby agree to follow the rules of this library and not to damage, steal, or abscond with any of the materials therein upon penalty of death or disillusionment. And then when you go to sign at the end, the little pin on its ball chain pricks your thumb, and you sign in blood.
Got to be used to that.
Mr. Guide. She just has inhaled this burrito.
Could have sworn
And
there's a
she
face
chews a little
imprint on
bit.
that tortilla.
Yeah, yeah. There's like, she's chewing a little bit, and you see what looks suspiciously like an pointy ear in her mouth. She swallows. Sort of like a. You ever seen a seagull try to eat like a crab whole? That's kind of what she's doing.
Trying to suppress lycanthropy feelings. Oh, I know exactly how you're going through.
Yes. Come. She leads you to the microfiche room. And I don't know how much experience you have with microfiche, but it is a massive machine. 2 square metal boxes with a light source underneath and lenses with a series of mirrors to reflect back the magnified image to you.
Oh my.
And she points to rows and rows of boxes. They're alphabetical by clan name.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Go to the P. I think that's what a filmy clown starts with.
Is okay. So make me let's do history to see how skilled you are at navigating this library.
Interesting.
Yeah. You flip through pretty quickly.
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you. You flip through the different microfiche containers pretty quickly until you find a familiar name.
Excellent. Also interesting.
If you remove the box, you see microfiche looks basically like film negatives. So it's strips of film negatives, and you can see, even just holding it up to the light, you can see they look like contracts. You slide it in the machine and adjust the focus, and it magnifies it on the lens in front of you. And the first contracts you find in the box date back a couple hundred years that seem to correspond with the founding of your family.
Oh,
And it
okay.
indicates that the founder of the family negotiated a deal for the power to begin their own dynasty, essentially. And you can read through the terms with a natural 20. Basically, you find out that the terms of the agreement were not for his soul, but for the corruption and cursing of many souls for the duration of the family's life. So as long as his descendants continue cursing people, the family line will prosper.
So, I'm taking it all in. Clyde seems a little shocked. So, trying to see what live and prosper. But, okay. So they're only living. That's the reason why I'm cursed with this lycanthropy, then. What of a cure?
Deeper through the box, you get a little bit more detail about the kinds of curses, but they seem to have settled on lycanthropy as the easiest and the most profitable. Wolves are pack animals, after all.
That's true. Okay. I'll continue to look through and see, like, any mention of a cure, like, or any mention, like, why was I sent down here in the first place? Was I expected to see this, or?
Oh. You want... Yeah.
Let's take your time.
Make sure I get the name right. So, you don't see anything about a cure in the box. What you do see the name of the devil with whom the contract was originally signed. Which was Fierna.
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 Interesting. Does it state what level of health she's in? Or where I could find her?
Mm, no, but alongside her signature, this in blood, there seems to be a massive seal, wax seal, that looks pretty official. So you would gather she probably is a higher ranking devil, if not an archdevil, just based on the size and shape of the shield. You could probably do a little more research and find out more, or just ask somebody if you're not super well versed in hellish history.
Probably would ask someone, like, anyone, like, any history of Fierna, of course. Perhaps perhaps the one who's been helping me. Who?
Okay. So you ask the librarian?
Mhm.
Okay. She goes, oh. One more down.
I'm gonna lay it down.
She and her father, the archdevils of I cannot. There's no way I'm gonna be able to say that name right now.
It's all good.
Um,
Just pretend you said it.
yeah, we'll pretend I said it.
Phlegethos? A Phlegethos?
Yeah, Phlegethos. Thank you. My brain was like, they roll together, Belial and Fierna.
Belial and Fierna.
And daughter.
And Data? Interesting.
Mm.
Yes.
Well, could you tell me about if you know anything?
She's fiery? I've never met the woman, only know. She's very scary, very persuasive, as the archdevils tend to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tell that she's quite charismatic. I would be
Yeah.
careful believing anything that she tells you.
As the saying goes, or that's normal down here. Pretty sure.
Indeed.
Oh, thank you very much for assisting me finding in the history of this. I guess I know where my next destination lies.
Young man?
Enjoy the rest of your day.
And she takes a handful out of her lunch bag and throws back what look like a bunch of fingers and toes.
Wait, she throws it at me? Sorry.
No. She throws them into her mouth like
okay.
like she's eating a little snack.
Just watch her for like a moment before.
It's very crunchy. Do you want one?
Yes, please.
She hands you a middle finger.
Not the longest one. Thank you very much. Say goodbye to it. Just walk my way out.
Roll 2d20, take the highest.
2d20, take the highest.
Uh,
9.
Oof. Oof. Okay. You feel the bloodlust start to rise as you chow down on this finger, and you feel also the heavy suppression of the booze you drank at Ninky's push it back down.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But you could have been in big trouble.
Oh,
I was gonna say, is this one just gonna go berserk in the middle of a library?
Right?
Everyone's like, shh.
Yeah. You don't want to get shushed in an infernal library, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, Aquinsu, is there anything that you would like to do?
Yes, I can think of a few things that I would like to do. Well, what they say is that idle hands are the devil's plaything, so I figured since we had some downtime, I would get some necessary components for a spell that I was finding quite interesting. Not sure if it's any useful at all, but once upon a time we run across a spell of, according to this sticky note, a scroll of create imagine. And so I imagine he will wander around the bazaars to get 500 gold pieces worth of quicksilver, a life-sized doll, and an intricate crystal rod, also worth 1,500 gold pieces.
Okay.
That-
You make it into the bazaar area, and it is quite a bizarre bazaar. If you'll pardon the very terrible pun.
I feel like that'd be a song title.
The bazaar. It's easy enough to find the quicksilver. The quicksilver is pretty easy to find. The crystal wand, also. There's plenty of spell components to be had here.
Good.
Finding a life-size doll is a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
You ask around a little bit, presumably like other shopkeepers and stuff like that. And finally they point you to a woman, to a woman named Belinda. And her shop's not marked. It's clearly a shop. It's got one of those little dinkly bells, and it says an open sign, but it doesn't have a name. And you find it tucked in the backside of a shoemaker's building, just a little room that she's rented out. And as you walk in, you are struck by the feeling of being watched. And as your eyes adjust to the relative darkness in the little shop, you just see hundreds of doll eyes staring at you,
Lovely.
of all sizes. All
Beautiful.
creeds, colors, all sizes.
Oh no, they have creeds. Get out of there.
Despite the specifically creepy nature of this place, it is, after all, exactly what he was looking for. So he'll sort of go to the shopkeep, ring a bell or something like that, wait for someone to assist him.
Yep. A doll walks across the counter and puts her little doll hand over the ringer of the bell. Says, I can hear you. You didn't have to keep ringing.
My fault. I did not realize that it was annoying. I thought this was exactly what it was here for.
Didn't you see me? I was right there.
Let us say that you have camouflaged very well.
What can I do for you?
Very simply, it seems as though I require a life-size doll for a very specific spell.
Huh. What size of life size?
Well, something tells me that it has to be around the size of a person because the spell itself generates a humanoid figure from it. So maybe somewhere between 5 foot tall, medium size, let's put it like that.
Okay. Does it have distinguishing features?
No, not to my knowledge.
Oh, okay. So
I'm not
it's
very
not one of
picky
those.
about the kind.
It's not one of those spells.
It's not one of those spells, and it's not one of those dolls.
Oh, okay. I mean, no judgment. That's how I make most of my money.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, do you just want what I've got in the back?
Yeah, something very simple, likely inexpensive. As a spell component, I cannot be very. I am assuming that it is consumed by the spell, so if it is something fancy, it will go to waste.
She hops down, and you see on the far side of the counter, there's like an exaggeratedly long doll-sized ladder that leads down from the counter to the floor. And she scampers away and disappears in a flail of doll-sized petticoats. And you are left alone, once again, in this room full of empty, staring doll eyes. Once in a while, you think maybe one of them moves. And you hear tiny muffled cursing coming from the back room and the thud of something very heavy being moved around. And then, eventually, once you're very sure that there's a doll directly behind you, perhaps with a little silver needle, ready to stab you at any moment, Belinda comes back. And she's dragging in a wagon behind her a piecemeal doll, a painted china face, sort of roughly stitched to to a burlap skull. The face itself is of a cherubic youth, androgynous, could be male or female, but rose painted lips, cherry cheeks, blue glass eyes that are slightly askew in their little porcelain sockets, rooted eyelashes, daintily drawn on eyebrows. And it's sort of hanging limply over the side of the wagon. It's got all four limbs, roughly medium sized, maybe 5'4", 5'5". The limbs don't quite match. Like, there's like a There's sort of a cylinder for the torso, and there are joints in the shoulders and the arms, but she's very clearly had to like pop on extra limbs. So like it's got 2 right hands. One of the legs is slightly shorter.
It seems as though this is a life-sized doll, and it is the kind of quality that I would come to expect from a shop in hell. It is beautiful.
You watch her eyes sort of, you can almost hear them turn in their sockets, because, you know, she's made of porcelain. So you hear the sort of glass marble of her eyes turn in her sockets. And she points her finger. She says, "Don't you dare. This is a paying customer." You turn around, and it's just dolls. Anyway, 75 gold.
This is yours. Thank you so much for your patronage. And then he sort of opens the portable hole onto the ground and takes the doll and gently puts it inside because he knows there's a sphere of annihilation at the far end of it. So he puts it inside, closes it up so that nothing gets annihilated. All right. This has been pleasant. I mean, compared to the rest of my experience in hell. Have a good rest of your day.
So, and you hear just tiny muffled voices arguing as soon as you leave.
There are some things that, of course, despite wizards' curiosity, we find ourselves not asking questions about things we do not want the answer to. For example, what the hell was that doll and what were they made out of, and all of those other sorts of curiosities that once you deep dive into them, get a little bit lost in the weeds. Eventually, he makes it back to what is the central location of the magnificent mansion, makes his way inside, greets the people in the tavern, goes back into his room. He lays out all of these materials. He's not casting the spell quite yet. He just wanted to have the materials in case he was inspired. He takes the doll out and it doesn't quite fit the decorum, so he shoves it away or somewhere for safekeeping. And then he sort of pauses, and his eyes track over to the bed. And sitting at the foot of the bed is a certain tome, a book, gold and silver. And his mind flashes to that moment when they were sort of raiding the dragon's den after slaying them. And that book would be the accounting and valuation of all things. He walks over and he sort of eyes the book and, fingers poking into one another. Quincy's not dumb, per se. His wisdom's average, but things about wizards is that oftentimes their curiosity gets the better of them. And having been through a few layers of hell now and faced a number of dangerous things, there is some case to be made for a mysterious yet ancient spell book, potentially adding to their collective power in a way that might be helpful. And so at some point he caves, and he needs to make some precautions. And so he ritual casts Unseen Servant and has it to pick the book up. And then he uses his barrier flicking spell that I've been spamming. I forget what it's called even. Somebody tell me what it is.
Are you talking about
the
the
wall
one for the resting?
No, he uses the Wall of Force. There we go.
Wall of
to
Force.
to surround the book. So there's a transparent barrier around the book, and then he has the Unseen Servant open the book and flip through the pages so that he can read safely from the outside.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make an attempt to attune to this thing to see what happens.
Okay. Cool. So, you are able to attune to this book. It gives you a +3 to your spell attack and your spell save DC.
Mm.
Additionally, it gives you the yeah, it raises your constitution to 20.
Okay.
Mm.
hmm
Neat.
But it renders you immune to all forms of resurrection besides true resurrection.
Uh-huh.
So if you die, you stay dead.
Don't die.
Cannot be resurrect. Is that going forward or while I'm attuned to it?
Attuned to it.
Mammon's like, thank you very much.
Very neat. But I know that you read off a number of the things that it can do before. I've made a note of them. Have those changed at all?
Nope.
Like,
Nope. So there's a book that's dedicated to negotiating and valuing mortal souls. So as the unseen servant opened the book, you saw make a wisdom save.
okay.
You feel the book try to assess you. Because if the book is opened within 10 feet of a creature with a soul, that creature has to succeed a DC 22 wisdom save. Otherwise, the book will tell you exactly what the creature would want in exchange for its soul. And then you can offer a trade for that soul. The creatures that succeed on the saving throw simply show up as a question mark in the book's pages and cannot be valued again.
So I come up as a question mark for now. Forever. Good. Let's keep it that way.
Yes. Additionally, any creature killed by a spell transcribed within the book has their soul ripped from their body and sent to Minaros.
Damn.
We're already in
That's
Straight
fun.
to brokerage.
And in payment for their
It
soul,
goes fucking straight to Elias Wands.
in payment for their soul, Mammon drops gold equal to 20 times their CR.
It's a money farming exploit.
Yep.
It's a gold exploit.
You also get a passive +5 to charisma, to persuasion checks that are made to barter.
Ooh, not bad.
And as an action, you can surrender your consciousness to the tome, allowing it to take over. And for 1 minute, the accounting and valuation of all things speaks for you, using a +12 charisma skill and gaining advantage on your rolls.
Wow.
I don't know that I want it to take over my soul, but that's fine.
Yeah. Additionally, if you are copying spells from your spellbook into the tome, it costs half the gold it normally would.
But bad girl.
Okay, so I would only want to copy them into this if I wanted to use my own spells to murder things and take them. Ooh, if I summoned a thing and then that thing killed something with its soul, conceivably, so I could just like summon a death pixie to go around harvesting souls for me. Dope. Fucked up. but
Yes,
that's dope.
if you want to copy the spells from this tome into your own spellbook, the cost is doubled.
Okay.
And it does already have spells recorded in it, but I have not
Mm.
decided what spells are in it yet.
Cool.
So I'll make a note and I'll get that ready. I will put the spells in there for next time.
Neat. So all this cool shit, but if I die, I'm dead forever.
Yep.
Just don't die.
Cool.
Like, Quincy doesn't think that he's ever gonna die, right?
Cool.
Clearly not.
We're gonna have to make a really kind of cool contingency.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's why we have contingency for this very reason.
If my HP drops to 1, I fucking teleport back to the bar. There's a healing potion waiting for
Is clone a loophole?
me. Clone?
Yeah, casting clone.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know what that spell does.
How much goes into making a clone, though?
A lot,
A
a
lot.
lot.
That's
But
more
yeah,
than a
it's
simulacrum.
Also,
Might as well just become a lich.
Yeah, at that
Become
point,
a
you're already one step into
Wow.
being a lich.
Nice. Very good. Very good.
Or you could go the Elias route and become a devil.
But once he'll spend most of the time just reading the book once he sort of gets his eyeballs on it. As any good wizard starts nerding out and gets lost in it.
Yeah. I would say that clone does not is not a loophole because it is a form of resurrection because it contains the spell contains the words if the soul is able to return.
As most
And I'm
resurrection
gonna say
spells
this soul is not able to return.
have.
This is a legendary cursed item, yo.
Fair enough.
Okay. So I feel like dog shit. And I think that this is as much as I have the gas for. So we will pick up next time if it's okay with everyone. And we will return to see what Asclepius and Rahim have to say to one another on the next episode.
Hell yeah.
Dope.
Hope you feel better. Sorry your throat's a fucky.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I woke up from my nap and sounded like this, and I was like, oh, that's convenient.
Boo.
Maybe a spider died in your throat or something.
Have you checked for any
Honestly?
frogs?
Honestly, metal. That'd be metal as shit.
Like a spider dying in your throat?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. But then again, I am not a doctor.
Maybe I swallowed a little horse.
But
Alright. Alright. Alright, you can leave.
There's no check for amphibians in there. Take a look in the back, see if I swallowed a frog. But
Ass chaps.
Yeah.
God damn it. God damn it.
It was Jen's fault. She activated my brain. She said nipple apron.
Oh gosh. That was what activated Olivia's brain.
And then, you know, once I was in my realm, I was like, ass chaps. Yeah. All ass.
Yeah. Wait until you all meet the tattoo artist.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh.
God. Oh, God.
They uses
Magic.
ink.
Magic tattoos?
What do they use as skin?
Okay, well,
Yeah,
Find
like,
out next
you
time.
know how they put when you get a tattoo in real life and they put like the fake skin on it or whatever? They just use real
Yeah.
skin.
It's just a skin graft. They just skin graft the tattoo onto you.
Oh, like second? Do you want a new custom tattoo, or do you want a secondhand tattoo? And by secondhand tattoo, they take the tattoo
the
off of a
second-
dead guy and just stitch it on you.
No,
Yeah.
off their second hand, the non-dominant hand.
Uh,
Oh god.
Well,
That has
That was a
completely
nice
changed what
place.
this tattoo artist is going to look like.
oh
Uh-oh.
god.
Thanks for bearing with my froggy ass throat. I love you. I'll try and kill you all next week.
Yay.
You
Well,
promise.
please don't. I can't be resurrected.
Promise.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.